Hey, what's up, Internet? Arshamir Shah here. I got Chris Mechanic with me, and we want to talk to you about marketing in the age and the era of COVID-19. First and foremost, so wherever you're watching this, probably LinkedIn, start typing some notes because we're going to talk fast and you're going to have ideas, you're going to have thoughts, you might have questions, and I want you to record those as we're talking so that you can comment on them later, right?
Yeah, Arsham and I run Web Mechanics. We have over 70 clients in all types of different industries, so we're deep in the weeds with them right now. We're seeing all types of different stuff, and we want to, provide some value. So let us know if you like this, if you don't like it, if you have questions, etc.
So, point number one, fear and greed. Warren Buffett said, when everyone else is greedy, you should be fearful. When everyone else is fearful, you should be greedy, right? I'm paraphrasing, but what's really interesting, what we're seeing on ad networks is CPMs are just dropping. So here's an ad account where, we're targeting very broadly here, right? Just basically the US essentially. And right here, check this out. Boom, CPMs drop 20, 30%, right?
Yep.
Just globally.
And this is the same exact thing we're seeing in the stock market, right? Advertisers pulling out of the auction. Same thing as investors pulling out of stocks. It causes the momentum to go downwards. So if you're in the fortunate scenario where you can actually maintain budgets or increase budgets, now is a great time to do it. To get the most bang for your buck, there's a few things that you want to do. One is revisit creatives. Get your creative team together, because if the CPMs are dropping, the formula for cost per click is basically CPM and click-through rate. So if you can also increase click-through rates during this time, then you're going to get the double whammy effect of just super duper cheap clicks.
Yes.
Second thing you want to do is play the long game with retargeting, because while a lot of people may not be buying right now, there is still a lot of research. People are at home, they have time on their hands, they're looking at other types of purchases. Your remarketing list length is going to be 30 days by default, but you can increase that list length, basically how long you can remember and follow these individual users around, to up to 540 days on Google platforms or up to 180 days on Facebook platforms. So increase the length of those lists so that you can get back in front of these people more for longer periods of time.
Yeah, or you can also segment your lists here and do new angles and new niches within your segments, within your audiences as well. Another thing you can consider is turning on new networks, right? If you're on Google, why not be on Bing? If you're not on Facebook, now's the time, right? Get your retargeting going. Chris, you were famous for saying, when a client comes, you can say it.
How much is your budget? If it's $1 a month or $1 million a month, doesn't matter. My first question is always, how much can we productively spend on retargeting? Because all things equal, you're going to get the best leads from retargeting at the lowest cost. So if you are in the cost cutting measures, do not cut your retargeting ads.
Yeah. Another thing you could do is survey and poll and do user voice surveys right now, because costs are generally it's less expensive to do them. So
absolutely.
Number two, you got more to say on that, Chris?
No, that's all good. Number two is perhaps the most exciting opportunity. So Sham, if you could actually just redact the particular conversations, but because I don't want to reveal anything about them, but basically there are people that have access to your audience, which is very, very valuable, and they're unfortunately hurting right now. We're not advising to take advantage of anybody. We advise 100% to do this ethically. But if there is a time where people are willing to make deals, whether those are event organizers, whether those are media platforms, if you're doing radio, TV, print, a lot of these individuals right now that have access to these very, very valuable audiences are willing to do deals. Now, if they've ever been willing to do deals, it's now. So we would definitely look, and we can't promise that this is actually going to work necessarily. It all depends on the audience and the individuals. But there are people in our networks that we know well that are literally reaching out to us proactively saying, hey, we're hurting right now. Can we wheel and deal a little bit? And we're getting some really, really good deals on access to audiences. So again, be ethical, be empathetic about this. Don't take advantage of anybody, but it's a phenomenal time for deal making.
Yeah, you need to consider, and this is not now the time to do it. It's not now. It's always to do it. So it just makes a little bit more sense now. Who has access to your audience? So people who put on events, right? They can't put on events right now. So, they're probably going to look to do virtual events, and they're going to need content for that. They have access to your audience. Even though they can't do events right now, they still have access to the audiences that you want to get in front of. So consider reaching out to them and giving them a lending hand with some content, with some cash, and they can, you're building that relationship for the long term as well, right? Because you're helping them out, and maybe a time of their need, they're going to be loyal to that and appreciate that going forward when we come out of this.
Very much a win-win. Very much a win-win.
Yeah.
And the third thing that any CMO can do right now for little to no cost, which is extremely valuable and will position you in the executive boardroom as like a real authority and a real value add, is to zoom in close to customers. So chances are, depending on who your audience is, either your customers are running around with their hair on fire and very much stressed and very much frazzled, or they're sitting at home with more time on their hands than they know what to do with. And I was talking with a client recently, and I asked them that question, and they were targeting specifically HR professionals. And I said, well, hey, how are they feeling? Are they hair on fire? Are they very busy? Or are they like looking for webinars? Are they looking to upskill themselves or their team? Do they have extra time on their hands? And the client was like, brilliant, that's a great idea. I'll call them, I'll email them, I'll talk to them. So if you haven't already, this is the perfect time to lean into your customer base and to just get a gauge for how they're feeling, because that information, whether it's up, down, or sideways, is going to be incredibly useful for you in determining how to best respond to this. You want to respond according to how your customers and prospects are feeling right now.
Yeah, definitely. That human angle, that empathetic angle, and it's a good time to, as you're talking to the customers, is understand how this is changing their perception of your product or service. What feature or benefit is more or less important now given our circumstance, right? Or what they presume our circumstance to be in the future. Great time to talk to your customer and get that.
Yeah, and there's all types of extrapolation angles. Like you might find in talking with one of your customers that they actually have access to your audience, and they may be willing to do some wheeling and dealing too. So this is very much a great time for deal making, for extrapolation, for rethinking the go-to-market and the value prop, and getting creative on how you can have that win-win of where you're both advising and guiding and adding value to clients, and also getting a really good return on your time and investment. And
essentially, all of these methods are long plays, right? You're going to, okay, if the ad networks are less expensive now, you're gaining market share. Maybe you're doing some upper funnel stuff, you're getting, share of mind, and then you're gaining market share. That's going to, increase in leverage proportions in the future. If you're making relationships and deals now with people who have access to your audience, they're going to have access to your audience after all this is over. So all of this is playing the long game. Understanding your customer, like Chris said, zooming into them and calling them and understanding them. You're playing the long game. You're understanding them. Your messaging, your targeting can be better down the line. All of this is long game, because we're going to come out of this. So we're
absolutely,
now is the time to get some leverage for the future.
Yep, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. It's not about what happens, but it's about how you respond to it. So these are just a few nuggets. We could go on for days and days. LinkedIn will only let us post videos up to 10 minutes long. So we're going to cut this off, but please let us know you like this, you don't like it, you have specific questions. We're here, we're in the weeds, we're in the mud, we're learning stuff, we're seeing stuff every day, and we want to help.
Having fun. Yeah, we want to help. We want to see you get stronger coming out of this. We're certainly doing everything that we can on our side, and we want to see what you're doing as well as help you come out of this way stronger. Just want to see everyone prosper in this difficult time. Hope you and your family are safe, healthy. Keep it that way, and we'll talk to you online. Take care. Thanks. Bye. Yeah, I'll see if I can get a screenshot of that. Make that a thumbnail. Oh, you can't make it if you upload it to LinkedIn native. I don't think you can choose thumbnail.
Yeah, probably not.
Right. So just do this a bunch of times. Just the whole video. Just talk like that with your hands up.
That's funny.
All right,
All right, you ready?
Yeah.